Hello and welcome to the Problematic Sticker anime podcast, part of PSU.com's little podcast family. I am your host, Neil Bolt, and I am joined by a regular crew of Shillabeer-Hall.
Hello, I am here.
Forgot that was his cue.
That was snappy. Snappy. Very snappy. Chris DeVisser.
Hello.
Garri Bagdasarov.
Yo, yo.
Tim, you're going to hate me. Tim Nunes. this week.
Nice and boring.
I forgot
Perfect.
it. Yeah. Nice. And who have I missed out? Alfonso Boxill.
Hey.
After everything we've thrown at you, I can't believe you're not happier. I mean, come on. You literally got balls thrown at you. Come on, Alfonso. Come on.
I had
I'm
nothing
not going to do it.
to do with that.
The story image in my head,
Don't blame
and
me
I'm
for
trying
this.
to process it, and I can't process. So, yeah,
Do you know what's great about this is if anyone who
get what you get.
listens to both of these, anyone who listens to both of the podcasts this week will hear this, the aftermath of everything that came before first, and will wonder what it's about. And then we'll listen to the end of the next podcast, The Unchained, and be able to work it out. So it'd be great. That's a nice little treat for you.
Wow, that laugh. I'm just going to get away before the...
Yes. I love it.
Anyway, before we forget, we should also mention, of course, also joining us this week is the person who picked last week's choice. It's Klauss, Knightbringer. Klauss.
And that's why I am very confused, dear listeners, because I did not get to hear what they were talking about before.
Ball.
Trust me, you'll find out if you listen to PlayStation Unchained at psu.podbean.com.
And probably look at the image that's on the front of it. It will probably be a special image, to say the
It'll be
least.
unique.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Balls.
Balls to the wall.
yeah, it is kind of ballsy.
Give everybody a hint.
Yeah.
It's coming home.
Yeah.
If you go to Twitter and search for that, you'll probably find it.
Hashtag.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about weird, lurid, sexualized stuff.
Sure we are. Come on, what? That's why we're problematic.
Yes, we are here to talk about anime, which is, of course, very much that thing.
Wait. Before we start, though, we have to hear the escapades of Fonzie.
Well, we'll get there in a sec. I'm just going to run through the show notes so people who now listen to all this bollocks at the beginning don't go, what the fuck's the show about? We'll say, first up, of course, we'll have our little reviews of the latest episodes of My Hero Academia and Boruto. I assume that they're both on this week. So
There was no My Hero this week.
Oh, there you go. So just Boruto. So short and snappy. It won't be short and snappy. Sorry.
That's what she said.
Hashtag.
It is. And you know what? Been married all these years. Still works that way. So then we move on, of course, to the anime of choice. And I got slapped back. Dear. And then we go into the podcast choice of last week, which was Klaus's Fate Extra Last Encore. Anchovies, I guess. And yeah, we'll be reviewing that. I think there's going to be some interesting opinions on this one. It's, to say the least. We shall see when we get to that. But first, Alfonso, I hope your story has something happy or violent in it.
It's violent towards me.
It's violent.
This is my fault.
Okay. So disclaimer might be slightly upsetting in some way because it's violent. That doesn't deserve a slap. Who slapped? Come on. Right, sorry, Alfonso.
Okay. So, Ben noticed from 2 weeks ago that I could have been on for the last 2 weeks because I had to go to friends' baby showers. Mm-hmm. So the first baby shower, came home from work. I was tired. Shannon was coming with me. I said, let me rest first before I go. I ended up sleeping half through it. And the worst thing about it is that Shannon was waiting outside my house. So she was basically standing outside for 2.5 hours without my knowledge. So, yeah, so I basically had her waiting outside for 2.5 hours, and she decided that we're not going. So we went in the back to talk, and as she's talking, I'm nodding off, so I'm going back to sleep. And I woke up because she poured cold water on me. And yeah, she poured cold, but this is not the worst thing. She poured cold water on me, and then I kind of slipped because water was on the floor, and I touched the telephone jack, and I got electrocuted. And
oh my god!
Wow.
It blew all the current in my house, so I had no TV, no internet, no nothing. So that's the reason why I couldn't watch anime that whole week, because it took them a week to come fix it because they had to see what the problem was. They couldn't find out the problem within that week until the next Sunday, which led into baby shower number 2. You think that I would learn from my lesson? But I end up doing the same thing again. Taking a nap. She waiting. This time she only waited 30 minutes, but still kind of pissed. I didn't go this time because we talked again. This time I was up. And she threw water, but I kind of blocked it, but it touched my hand. And I was pushing away. I had my hand in front and pushing away, but I had my other hand, not realizing that the telephone jack was still open because they had to come back and finish, and I got electrocuted again.
Oh, fucking hell.
Went to the hospital. I was in the hospital, for like 12 hours. And they said I was fine. I ain't get no scars, nothing like that. But I was just tired from all that fucking electrocution, 2 weeks in a row. And so I was like, good. She went home. She said, that's good for you. That's basically what she told me. She said, that's good for you. So she went home. I was like, oh, good. I can go watch anime. So on my phone, I was like, wait, why is my phone not working? So I couldn't call her because my phone wasn't working. So I called home, and she said she took my phone and basically ran out all my data. So I have no data for the month. So I couldn't watch nothing on my phone. And yeah, because of that second electrocution, my current was out again. So it got fixed today. So yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, this is all my fault. I'm not even gonna blame nobody. This is all me. Yeah. So that's what happened.
She used all your data. How is that your fault?
Because of having her wait. Yeah. She doesn't like waiting. She hates waiting. She doesn't like waiting. She's a very functional woman. Yeah.
But it's just a question. Is Shannon in for capital punishment? Just seems to me that her answer to you being late twice was to try and electrocute you. So yeah. How does she seem more serious?
She wants to see me in pain. So what? I told you I can't run. I tried. I tried to exit out this relationship because I was scared of her. But then she said, if you do that, my dad will come after you and kill you. So basically, I'm kind of here out of fear, mostly. I do love her, but yeah.
God. What? Is she aware of this? Like,
yeah, she already knows that, and she gladly agrees to it. So,
I mean,
I'm trying
to say it, guys. I kind of guessed this was the case, but it's like, Jesus. You are living the film audition in some weird way, it seems. So you might want to get out there before you end up paralyzed with needles in your eyes at some point.
Utah's waiting for you, man.
It's fine, man. It's coming home.
Garri.
I don't know. Something tells me that's a bad idea.
Why?
Yeah.
Why, Tim?
Utah is an incredibly red state.
Maybe he likes that. Did you ask him?
But then again, I'm gonna. change that because of what you did earlier. I do not want to know what you do behind closed doors. So I'm not going to Utah now.
Whoa,
Yes, I just
whoa.
realized
Good point.
that. No.
Smart.
Nah. Sorry, Gary. I love you, but nah.
You're not cool, dude.
What about
No, you
Scarborough?
should
Do you want to know what he does behind closed doors? Because I can tell you.
Yeah,
I've sat in that computer chair.
I never.
You managed to get out?
Before.
What about Scarborough?
Oh,
I mean, being a werewolf wouldn't be that bad compared to Gary's chair.
So, anyway, shall we move on to actual anime, which I know is not a million miles from all the stuff we're talking
To be
about
fair,
so
that sounds
far.
like more excitement than this week's anime. I mean, no.
I mean, like I said, it already sounds very, very Japanese so far, so it's thematically in keeping at the very least. So, Boruto,
Yeah.
talk about Boruto. There you go. That'll get us back on the right track.
Did
All
you
right.
catch this week's episode, Klaus?
Oh, I did. And
Nice.
I have to say, it's actually one of the better episodes in the series.
Oh yeah, it was really good.
There was a lot that happened in this episode, and I think they took a little bit of the shortcut, and they made, they went through and they kind of closed some of the issues up a little bit too neatly, but I mean, the way they did it was well done. Basically what ended up happening from the last episode, we learned that Naruto was kidnapped by the clan members of Kagura. I can't remember their last name. It's a really really long.
The Utsuki or whatever it is. I know it is.
Yeah.
Just don't know how to say it.
I can't remember how to spell it. It's a very long name, and but they're Kaguya's clan.
Otsuki.
Otsuyuki?
Yusuki, yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that. Sorry for the pronunciation being horrible, but anyway, we see they have Naruto basically tied to the divine tree that they created when they took out the eight tails from B-sama earlier in the season. And they're trying to basically extract all of the nine tails chakra and use that to feed the tree and create more divine fruit, similar to what Kaguya was trying to do at the end of the Naruto series.
Yeah.
And they're saying that he has a lot of chakra and it's taking a very long time. And then there's a little bit of exposition back and forth. He's all like, I'm not going to let you guys, take it easily because we work hard for our powers.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you work so hard to get such little power, whereas we, take all your stuff from you and we put in these little pills and then we get more power than you'll ever have.
Yeah.
And he has basically at that point an aha moment that kind of relates that to the scientific ninja tool that Boruto was caught using. And that makes him, think back now on all of the things that the interactions that he and Boruto had in the past, where he basically had said, you're, for all intents and purposes, he just basically said, you're just a kid. You don't know how tough it can be, yada, yada, yada. And he realized that he basically just, he pulled an adult on Boruto, and that's what drove him to kind of do what he did.
Yeah. Which is basically what Naruto used to do as a kid anyway.
Yeah. So he realized that, while he was trying to protect everybody and still trying, be there for his family, he realized that he wasn't there for his family, and that really needs to change.
Yeah.
So at about that moment, the four remaining Kage, along with Boruto and Sasuke, show up, and they stop them from continuing to take out the chakra. They free him from the tree, and Boruto and Sasuke end up pulling Naruto aside, getting him kind of in a safe area so he can kind of catch his breath, so to speak, while the other Kage start to take on these members of the of this crew.
Yeah, and they did pretty well actually. They take one of them down. the bigger guy, they took him down by just really cool skills. That was a really cool fight, I thought.
Yep, there was a nice fight. They ended up using some special jutsu, like a lava
sealing
ash jutsu.
Yeah,
a sealing jutsu by the Tsuchikage.
They misused some sort of sword thing. You like sort of ward bullets. It looked like his sword. That grows. It grows with confidence, if I'm rightly.
It kind of stunned him and allowed the Tsuchikage to do this sealing jutsu to kind of hold him there. Yeah. And then everybody else surrounds the other guy because the way he gets his power is to absorb other people's jutsus and their power, and then he releases it that way. But if he doesn't have anything to absorb, he has no power.
Finally, Rock Lee's opponent.
But the problem with that, this clan has a special trick up their sleeve where they actually give their power away to the next generation and for them to grow and use it.
Which is pretty cool, really.
Yep, so basically what ended up happening is he escaped the jutsu by transforming into a giant steam bun, for all intents and purposes.
I think it was supposed to be one of the fruits.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked like a brown steam bun.
It did,
didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
And he started and then getting the power from that.
I love the whole Sasuke going like, "I'll attack you while you're eating." No, nothing happened.
And then, he basically was a split second too late. Yeah. He already absorbed the power and was able to stop Sasuke's blade.
Now, if I was Sasuke, I would have used my Rinnegan powers to swap something with the fruit so I could steal the fruit for myself. Remember, his power is to swap things.
Well, he can use that, part of the Sharingan power to open up a dimension to another realm. Yeah. That's how they teleport.
He also has the other ability to. His Rinnegan allows him to, like the escape jutsu with, like when he used to see a log. Because remember, they threw Naruto's coat and he swapped with that. And
I thought that was just a substitution jutsu.
No, that's one of his Rinnegan powers.
All right, I guess I assume that was just a standard substitution style jutsu.
It's one of his Rinnegan abilities.
Okay.
So it would have been cool if he'd used that on the fruit. But then there would be no plot.
But also they were trying to avoid using jutsu.
True.
So it doesn't get absorbed.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of the reason why they didn't go that route. Also because of plot armor and things like that.
Ninja.
You had to give the enemy a chance to don his plot armor too.
Ninja no jutsu.
Is that plot jutsu?
Plot no jutsu.
Plot no jutsu?
Yeah.
But the one thing that we didn't talk about in that episode was when Boruto and Naruto had some time to sit and just talk as father and son.
And it looked so cute with his little father's old jacket.
Actually, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah. And they actually were in that, while in the middle of this massive fight, they're able to have this heart-to-heart talk where Naruto basically told Boruto that he hasn't been necessarily the greatest father. He hasn't had a chance to tell him anything about his past. I mean, he didn't even realize that he was more of a troublemaker than Boruto is.
Oh, yeah, he was worse.
Oh, God, Naruto was the worst. But he didn't have a chance to, they have never talked about that. So, basically they've made plans to do that once this is all taken care of. And hopefully they'll be able to mend some of the issues that plagued them and brought them to this point.
Yeah.
But now they have a powered up opponent to take on next week. And damn, his transformation is a little bit odd.
He's got yellow Sharingans for some reason.
And he has to get a Manny and a Petty, something fierce. Yeah.
And he has eyes everywhere for some reason.
He has lots of Rinnegan eyes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, so he's like what's his name? From Dan? Dan?
Donzo.
Donzo.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has the arm full of the eyes. Yeah.
Only this one has them on their arms and on their head.
Yep.
Oh, so he's Danzo 2.0, basically upgraded in every way.
It's Rinnegan, not Sharingan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's. Ooh.
And they're yellow, not blue.
Yeah. So that's even going to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very interesting. We'll have to see where this the next part of the arc takes us.
I'm going to say they get their ass kicked.
But just before something amazing happens, and he ends up getting his ass handed to him. Like he loses his power or something, and they beat him up.
Well, they just outlast the fruit, maybe. Because remember, it's just a
lot of it seems to be temporary, yes. Yeah. But one thing that we haven't seen is, we haven't seen anybody really use Sage Mode fully against them. They've used Sage Mode with ninjutsu, but they have not used straight Sage Mode.
No.
So possible Naruto ends up using full on Sage Mode cool. With no chakra and is able to take on that way, basically using nature energy, which is very different from their normal chakra.
Yeah.
Isn't that what didn't he go full out Sage at the end of the series?
It was
because
Sage and ninjutsu because he was using Kurama's power.
Oh, okay, yeah. So no, we have not seen a full Sage mode yet, have we?
No,
like I said, it was a hybrid mode at the end of the last episode.
We saw Sage against Pain originally.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen Sage mode in the previous series, but we haven't seen it go against this particular clan.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know if they're able to absorb Sage power or not.
He's just going to use the sexy jutsu and they'll win.
Oh, God.
Well, it worked on Kaguryu. Remember? She got...
Now they get Boruto in on the mix, too?
Oh, God. Father-son harem jutsu.
Yes! Oh, my God. I have never wanted to see anything so much in my life.
The daddy jutsu.
I love
Neil,
it.
If you would, please.
Yeah.
I think he got drowned out there, but I did do it, but yeah.
There we go.
Oh my God, yes.
But yeah, that was basically the Boruto episode this week. It was, like I said, one of my favorite episodes, probably one of the more well done ones that I've seen so far.
Oh, the art was really good as well, and the animation.
The art was well done. The story, but the story writing was very good as well. They basically were able to tie up a few loose ends, and hopefully we'll get some good closure between Boruto and Naruto after they handle this last battle.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, I am sad there is no My Hero this week. I was really looking forward to the next episode of that.
Can I ask you guys something that watch Boruto every week? I don't. I haven't started watching the series at all. After Naruto ended, I just haven't gotten into it yet. But I have to say, with the quality of what shows are doing now, as opposed to the old Bleach and Naruto and One Piece style of their arcs, compared to like what we've seen now with One Punch Man and My Hero Academia and kind of just generally the overall improvement in anime over the years. Is Boruto holding up well? Has it been better then, or is it worse than the original series? Can you compare them at all? I'm just been really curious if it's even worth my time. And it sounds like it is at some points, but at other points maybe not so much. So overall, from what you've seen so far, what do you think?
Judging by what we've gotten so far, especially with this last episode we got, it makes everything else make a lot more sense. So I would say, yes, it's holding up very well. The writing is pretty well done. It's giving us a whole different aspect of the ninja village. With Naruto, it was a ninja village that was basically always on the brink of war, even though it was peacetime. So there was a lot of tension there, but especially between the other villages. But in the current time now, since they defeated, Kaguya and created the Shinobi Alliance, and everybody is at peace with each other, it's a very different feeling world. And it with all of these, ninja that helped to create that, and then the new breed that are coming out, it's a very different feeling scene. And I guess I think how they're handling is pretty well.
Nice.
And you can see how everything's advanced as well since then. Like they've got like laptops and stuff. It's crazy.
Yep, the technology has definitely made a big jump in the last few years within the ninja world. So.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Though Sasuke still uses hawks, even though other people use phones.
Oh, is Sasuke the crotchety old man who doesn't want to keep up with technology?
Yeah.
Well, Sasuke is also is doing covert things.
Yeah.
So it kind of requires him to be off the grid, so to speak.
Yeah. But still, it's funny that he is the one that doesn't get to use the stuff.
That's awesome. I just love that. Cool. Well, I'll try and make some time for it and check it out. Hopefully here.
That's good. It'd be nice to have someone else to chat next time.
Yeah, so it's not always me yammering on about it. How much I hate this stupid cheater no jutsu tool.
Yeah.
Well, at some point we're going to have different shows in rotation, I imagine. So,
like when Dragon Super comes back eventually, maybe.
Ooh. I can't wait.
No, I think we'll bring up the Heroes anime anytime that gets an airing, but I think most of it will be just us going, "Oh, this is shit."
We can do that right now. That first episode was absolute trash.
Did we bring it up last week?
Did we?
I think we did. Oh, I can't remember. But either way, that first episode was a load of trash. The whole point of it, they're like, "Oh my god, Super Saiyan 4 versus Super Saiyan Blue Goku. It's going to be amazeballs. It's going to be the thing."
It's done.
Yeah, done. It's done.
And I'm spent.
Yeah.
There you go.
Faster than Garri.
Hey,
16 pumps, baby.
You know what, Tim? I'm done with you.
Okay, I don't blame you.
Ignore
I'm
me
awful.
from now on.
I don't blame you. I'm awful.
I could never be done with you, Tim.
That's not true.
That is very true.
He'll be done with you, then he'll flip you over and say, "Make me a sandwich." That's how you'll know he's done with you.
I think that needs some stickers.
I gave one. Believe
Oh, I
me.
think it needs more than one. But
I thought that was Garri doing something else.
yeah, to be honest.
Wow, this turned into a Garri attack. That was awesome.
Fonzie, I need your defense.
Fonzie's too busy falling over electrical wires.
Defense will be shocking.
He's feeling a bit buzzed.
I can't do this. The hand slap at the minute because I've got one drink in my hand, but I'm trying to do one-handed, and it sounds a bit wrong.
Well, I think that needs a.
I think that one needs a.
Yeah. Maybe if you tried a little bit harder.
That's what she said.
Also phrasing.
Oh,
I'm out. Okay. There you go.
told you were going to run out of stickers.
Oh, no.
You know,
plentiful.
if I
We
go
didn't
to-
use any last week, so.
when I go to
Okay.
when I go to another convention sometime, I'm actually gonna find where I can buy somewhere to make custom stickers, just so I can go around handing people problematic stickers.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What's
that
this
would be
about?
good.
Oh, you'll see. Follow the URL.
Grand stuff. So I suppose we've moved off of the weekly review and on to, what we call our book club, but for anime. And Klauss was the bringer of anime last week, and he brought us to Fate/Extra last encore. Didn't you, Klauss?
I did. It was brand new on Netflix, and it's something that I'd wanted to see, so I figured why not drag everybody along down that rabbit hole with me.
I see.
Drag is a very good usage, I think, in this.
Yeah.
It was.
I see no fault in the logic. New. Everyone gets a fresh experience. And with that, of course, comes the uncertainty of what kind of product we're getting. But yes, as we'll see. Carry on.
I was basing, are my expectations on some of the previous series. A lot of the Fates animes have been amazing. Some of my favorite series out there. I love watching them battle against each other, in the Holy Grail Wars, and see, which heroic spirits they bring out, and what their adaptation is on their stories, because that has been some of the most enjoyable scenes that I have seen in anime.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Love Fate Zero was my first introduction to the series, actually, when it was on Netflix. And when it popped up on Netflix, I checked it out. And my first introduction, never had been into it at all. Didn't know what it was. Just like, okay, the description sounds interesting. And the first episode of Fate Zero blew. I hated it. And I was just like, oh my god, this is boring as shit. But I persevered, and it has become one of my favorite animes of all time.
Yeah, Fate Zero, Fate Stay,
Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
Oh my god, probably my favorite.
Fantastic.
Probably my favorite right there. And then I don't know if you also watched then Fate Apocrypha.
I have not seen Apocrypha yet. That is on my list, and I really would much rather have watched that one.
Yes, I think I will agree with you. It was much better. But then they just released Fate Encore, Fate Extra Last Encore, and it was very slow to start. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Basically, it starts out in kind of a classroom scene, talking about the history of the wars for the Grail, and it's kind of futuristic. They got laptops. It's a very clean environment. It's really different. And then I really didn't follow all of what happened there because it was very hard to follow.
That's it. That's all. That's how it starts, and then what the fuck ever happens after that? Tim we've got a word of the week from Tim here, if you guys would like. Tim, what was your word of the week for that first episode that you can define for us?
When you said word of the week, the only thing I thought of was the word I gave to Garri, which is not the case in this sin. The word I gave Garri was curmudgeon, but I can't think of the word that I gave.
I don't know what that word is, so I'm going to go with that.
It was what you said. And it's what they did at the very beginning of the episode, which Klauss was just describing.
Wait, I didn't know that the previous animes had David Hayter voice in it, and then they replaced it with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, that's actually one of the many, 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 many things I hate.
Exposition.
Oh, this is Metal Gear?
No.
Metal Gear?
The exposition, yes. It was a flagrant problem. I know I said this to Chris. My biggest issue with any form of storytelling is exposition. And the thing I didn't really elaborate on was in how it's utilized. Exposition can have such fluent potency if used properly, but what this anime did ad nauseum was stop everything and regurgitate a bunch of shit.
Yes. Very much.
A bunch. Just a metric shit ton.
However, they kind of had to, because the way they told the story was very out of order and very convoluted.
The story.
If they had told it in a good order, they wouldn't have had to.
You're exactly right. But there was a story in there somewhere. I swear.
Yeah. It does remind me of that, of Beyond Two Souls. Yeah. Where originally when they brought it in this out of order, and tonally it's all over the place. But at least that kind of made sense, But eventually they did correct that mistake and let you be able to play out in the right order. Yeah. That could have been a great help here, I think, because
what we saw as a classroom of kids learning about the history of the Grail Wars, we end up learning is for the most part a computer simulation.
In fact, pretty much all of it, except for 3 people.
Yeah. It's all, computer memories from basically the data files that they pulled from the Grail, and they created this giant simulation on the moon, I believe, and they keep talking about the moon.
The Moonstone. They keep
Yeah,
talking
there
about
we
the
go.
Moonstone is like the core of
Wait,
this
the Moonstone.
data file. The Moonstone. Or
So
some
you
moon
tell-
key.
tell
Is it
me-
Moon Key?
You
Moon
telling
Key.
me?
No, it's on the moon, and it's the moon key.
Okay, so it's not Moonstone.
Essentially, I think the Moonstone is the framework of it, and the moon key is essentially the thing that runs it.
It's
I
the
guess?
core.
Not sure.
But where do
Yeah.
I find it so I can evolve my Clefairy?
That's where the angelic cage rests, is in the Moon Key room or something.
Yeah, on the 7th level.
Hey, we managed to follow something in this god awful, insane sound storyline. Fucking shit.
Okay, then once we get past the first couple of episodes, basically everybody.
Level.
Go ahead. 7
Oh
levels.
my
yes.
god, I've got it now.
Oh god.
Dante's Inferno, the 7 levels of hell.
I love it.
Well, they do call it a hell of sorts.
Yeah.
So I mean, realistically, you're probably not that far off. It is probably allegorically similar. Because
They renamed
trials,
it to Fate Extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, though realistically, what shows aren't based off of some kind of huge story like that?
Yeah.
They'll take
Dora
it
the
and they'll twist
Explorer?
it. Dora the Explorer is probably about something that's in history.
Dora the Explorer is a satanic whore, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
He's
a great
talking
way
to
to get back into
animals.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
everyone. We had some technical difficulties
Yeah, the
there.
mic's
and
having
that's
issues.
where we stopped, and we apologize.
I blame Chili.
Yeah, I blame me.
So,
never blame Chili.
So,
anyways, yeah, Fate Extra Last Encore was
Yeah.
duty.
you're not wrong. Though I think that some of the later episodes were a lot more interesting
They were.
as standalone episodes, but as far as a comprehensive story, it was really trash. It was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I was highly disappointed in it. I will say the varying art styles we got from it within the different episodes was refreshing.
Yes, that was awesome. It reminded me of Madoka Magica in that episode where everything got all kind of fairy tale-ish. Alice
Oh,
in
in
Wonderland
the
style.
Alice episodes?
Yes, those were. I actually did enjoy watching those. Though they just have a real problem telling a story. I don't know why they have to make it so utterly fucking confusing. The point they're trying to get across. It's got symbolism out the asshole, but it's not done in an intelligent way. It's just kind of.
It just happens.
It's difficulty in telling the story for the sake of difficulty, to say that you did. It's not.
Yeah, they're trying to pull a Tarantino without having Tarantino to direct it.
Yeah. That's a great way to fucking look at it. They don't.
Yeah, that is spot on.
But I didn't dislike some of the characters. I mean, I love Nero. She's just fun. She's the Saber that is like the fun, outgoing, like wants to have a good time, but still is, honorable. So I really like that she's kind of like the Saber that we all know and love, but also kind of a little crazier because it's Emperor Nero.
I didn't think that they were going to go with Nero on that. It looked like they were going to go with another Arturia, another King Arthur in the initial look of the costume.
Garri and I both actually knew who she was because of the video games. And Garri can elaborate more on those. Would you, Garri?
Yeah, so when you mentioned the anime, I was like, oh, there's a new one on there. I was excited. And then I watched, how Netflix plays the little trailer for it right before you select it. And when I saw her in the red dress, I instantly knew how bad it was going to be. And simply by story means, because when I first watched Fate Zero, I was like, man, this is so cool. All these historical characters fighting each other. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, there's got to be a video game out there somewhere, right? Like a fighting game or something. And there wasn't, but there's only one game that came out outside of Japan, and it was for the PSP. And I believe it was called Fate Extra something. I don't remember.
No, Extella was the PS4 one.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of the Vita or the PS3
Yes,
one.
it was called Fate Extra. And I bought it right away because I was like, oh, damn, a Fate game. This is going to be fun. And it was terrible. That's when I found out that for some reason they're on the moon. They're in a computer program. And essentially, the way I understood it in the game is if the hero dies, they're dead for good. And another saber takes their place. Whereas if the master dies, the hero gets to live, or the servant, I should say, and another master will be able to select them. Which is essentially kind of what you saw happen in the beginning of the anime, where she's fighting something, and from what it looked like, her master died, so she disappeared.
Yep. I think they called him Peaceman or Twice or something like that later on.
I have no idea.
Yeah, the Buddha-looking dude.
Yeah,
Anyways.
but
Twice
it was
my hero was in this. This should have been amazing.
God damn it.
Skullomania.
Twice.
But it was bad, and the story was really bad. It was just as confusing as the anime, because they literally threw everything at you in this big, long dialogue section in the beginning of the game, which is something you never want to start your game with.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so confusing, and they just started going through these historical heroes like they were nothing. Genghis Khan, freaking Lu Bu. We saw some of them in the anime as well. Like the very first one they fought is Nathan Drake, or not Nathan Drake, Francis
Drake.
Oh,
Good
Yes.
I know it was boring at times, but Christ, come on! I don't remember.
Francis Drake.
I only accept that if Sully is his servant.
Yeah, and I was really afraid to watch it because I knew just how bad it was going to be, simply because. Yeah, so it was so confusing in the game, and when I got the PS4 version, which was technically the sequel, the story was so off the rails at that point, where I'm assuming this is where the anime is going with it as well, and I feel really bad for anybody who has to watch the continuation of it, because a lot of shit happens that if you thought this was confusing, it gets like infinitely worse. But it's just like it's a big spin-off of a fantastic franchise, and the fact that one of the biggest things about Fate, as we all know, is, well, not all of us, the ones who've watched it, is the identity of the characters, the servants, and how big of an impact that has if, say, you know who they are, you'll know how to fight them. And the problem with this series is that mystery is completely gone, to the point where, like, the fact that Nero is able to simply figure out exactly who she's fighting right away, like she did with Drake, like she did with
Robin Hood
right away, like, and even like the worst thing is that you fight a book, like they fought a book in it, like that was one of the
I
masters.
didn't mind that.
That was my favorite part, to be honest.
That was actually the best part of the anime.
I gotta say,
because it was endearing and sweet.
Yeah.
And like I said, the art during that one was some of the best because it was just different. The story was the most confusing there.
Yeah.
Because because the time frame kept jumping back and forth, because that was part of her noble phantasm, was the ability to basically reset time.
Mm-hmm. And as we all know, anytime you get time involved, it starts to fucking suck, unless you're South Park.
Unless you're South Park. God damn it.
Because their time travel episodes are always awesome, but every anime I've seen that starts to dabble in fucking time travel, none of them fucking pull it off. It's always some, I don't know, just hackneyed like effort to...
Dragon Ball?
Yeah, fucking Dragon Ball, the Goku Black saga. I just no.
Well, Trunks.
It just ruined it. Well, yeah, Trunks.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about the setting and the art style. I'm talking about the fact that they can come up with real heroes at that point in that franchise, the Fate Extra franchise, because they went through everybody. Sure, it's an anime and you can reuse a lot of them, but in this one they essentially used all new characters from the games that they didn't have in the games. And the fact that they had to turn it into like one of the servants was a book is like, come on. Like you guys can't seriously think that it's a great idea to have a book as a character.
Couldn't have been any worse than everything else that was in the series.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best parts.
It was probably one of the. Yeah, I mean,
we're not saying it's great.
No, it was a bolder part, by all means, but yeah, it was.
It was still shit, but it was the best shit they had.
Yeah,
yeah. To me,
that's very apt. Yes,
it loses a lot of its identity that makes the other Fate series is so fun to watch. Even the battles were so fantastic in Fate Zero, and even Fate Stay Night, like the fight. That I don't want to spoil the names of the characters. Chris knows which fight I'm talking about.
The one that pissed you off to the point that you almost quit the series?
Yeah, after what happened to the character. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's just this big mystery about all the characters and how they all kind of weave into each other. And like you start to care about all of them. And when one of them has to die, it's like, that sucks. In this one, it's like, oh, we're on to the next 4. Let's fight, kill this thing. You get like a 10-minute introduction and backstory to them.
It's Pokemon. It's a weekly episode of Pokemon is what it reminded me of, where things are usually wrapped up in 1, maybe 2 episodes, and that's not the Fate series that we know and love.
Yeah, because the Fate series.
It's fine for me because I haven't watched Fates before, so.
Well, we need to get you in watching some of the good series.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. I hope that people who jump into this one are not turned off by the franchise. Especially if they don't like it. Like, if they like it, more power to them. The good series is really fucking good.
The storyline is so in-depth, and it's just twisted around. There's so much to it. I mean, you can watch it 2 or 3 times and still get new things out of it.
Mm-hmm. This one you'll watch 20 times and you'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, and it's just so confusing about how, okay, the servants are there, but their masters are dead. How are they acting independently? Like you guys said, it's just so confusing, and it makes absolutely no sense. And then, like, you have the Lancer, who uses, what is he, Gelberg?
Gaybolg.
The ultimate Lancer attack that nobody can possibly dodge, and they prove that in Fate Zero, that it's an undodgeable move.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, they use it here, and the guy just like jumps backwards, and it's nothing to me. It's like a regular ass attack. Like they outside of the main character's Noble Phantasm, where she creates the big orchestra and all that. Everybody else's is utterly useless. Even Robin Hood's, who should have been one of the best, the way they described it, did absolutely nothing against her. And yeah, to me, it's a big black stain on the franchise. It's the GT of that franchise.
That's probably not very far off.
Yep.
Like I said, it is the worst series that I have ever seen. Like I said, I think the worst part about it was the cliffhanger on episode 10.
Yep.
Because now you have to wait for the sequel, and
yeah, now we have to wait. I
hope there isn't.
There will be.
I hate that so much. It's like, why did it end like this? I want an actual ending. Give me an ending. No.
Here.
Bad anime.
Shit.
Yeah, like I said, I hope like people will watch the other Fate series because they're so good, and I hope this doesn't like sour their thoughts on the franchise, because it shouldn't. Oh no! Well, and don't play the games for the story.
I like Ben coming to this having not watched any of it, and probably didn't come out of it feeling as negative as most of you, but then I don't have that shared history on the entire franchise. I agree. It's utterly dumb in so many ways, and it wastes all the potential it has. Spectacularly. But I got through it a lot easier than some things we've had in the last few weeks. And yeah, I think the core concepts, if you're saying that those core concepts are there throughout the Fate series, then it's enough to keep me invested, beyond this series and try and see some of the better stuff and see how it works out there. But yeah, it had its moments, this one. As you said, the change in animation and these little weird bold steps made it an interesting piece of trash. That's the way I see it. Yeah. There's some sparkle in that garbage, and that's what made it. That's for sure.
Mr. Sparkle.
Yeah, Mr. Sparkle is super shining on this one. And problematic there because that was terrible to do that accent. But yes,
I love it.
But yeah, I honestly thought when I started hearing you guys hating it and thinking, am I really that out of tune with everyone with these anime choices? Because I never seem to agree with anyone.
No, Principal Skinner. It's the kids that are wrong.
Yeah, it's the kids.
God damn it!
They're wrong. I mean, we'll forget that. I'm not even the oldest here, but yeah, it is very much that kind of feeling on this one. But yeah, I mean, it's like I totally do not disagree that it has a lot of awful elements, and probably if I had that background with the rest of the stuff, I definitely want to kick this in the nuts and send it on its way. But yeah, as it is, it's okay, heavily flawed. But if there's more to this universe that does better, great. That's great. I'd like to see it. That's for sure. So
well,
it didn't put me off.
To add to your bit, Neil, I've only watched 4 episodes of Fate Zero.
Mm-hmm.
And of those 4 episodes, it is substantially way, way better than everything that I watched in Fate.
There you go. Yeah, says it all.
That was that.
I actually feel horrendous for having watched more episodes of Fate Extra than I have of Fate Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have to correct that somehow. It's like I can't have watched all the bad ones and then not seen anything of the good stuff. I have to, almost have to see the good stuff now to balance it out, because it feels wrong, very wrong in that regard. But yeah, the concept is there. Even as a newcomer, you can see what they're going for overall. It's they're trying to put too much into too little, and far too much too little. And
to be honest,
I'm
just saying, I want to see more about what actually brought us up to this point on this particular series. I want to see how we got here. That hasn't really been explained in any of the series that are available to me at this point.
Well,
I don't know if it's somewhere, but
I think
they kind of hint at it in the way of like there's only 100,000 people left on Earth, and essentially the big hint is that the Holy Grail War destroyed the entire human population.
That's fun.
Thus, they moved it to the moon, and
one day, Martha,
like the guy
to the moon.
In the first level, the guy who bought all the servants and stuff, he had the perfect idea.
Yeah.
And he was stopping this war from happening, and they ruined that. And now it's going to continue, and humanity once again finally be wiped out. And that's like the big thing. Like, they're not fighting the war anymore. They're letting the AI do it for them. It's all sorts of messed up. Yeah.
To some credit, to credit where it is due, what I did enjoy about it was the you have to pretty much abandon all pretext of what you know about any world ever And if you go in with what this movie reminded me of was, what this series reminded me of is the movie Ultraviolet with Mia Jovovich.
No, don't.
Because it doesn't really, no, hear me out, because it's the same fucking thing. It's like when you start to incorporate these digital world themes to a point where there is no line. Like, I can't even say it's blurred. There is no line between real flesh and blood and digital like input. It's kind of a jarring thing at first. By the time I was at the end of the 10 episodes that are on Netflix right now, I was able to get more comfortable with the world just a bit, because now it's like, okay, so they're kind of using like all of their digital stuff the same way they do magic in the Fate Stay Night series. It's kind of, so if you swap out magic with that and just kind of abandon as much logic as you can, I'm not trying to defend it per se, but there is something to be said for at least they tried to make a interesting world. But again, as they did with storytelling, they failed to kind of make the world make sense. I don't know. It's just, it became watchable. And like I said, I really like Nero, and I'll always love Rin, no matter what she's in.
Rin Tosaka, yeah.
Oh, I love her. She's, as a character, as like how she presents herself, her strength that she always puts forward, like overall, and yes, she's absolutely adorable.
That's right. She was also from, I think she was in Apocrypha, wasn't she?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know if she was in Apocrypha, but she's in Stay Night. She's one of the main characters in Stay Night.
Yeah, I thought that she seemed familiar. It's been a while since I watched the other one.
So, but it felt like, so at the very beginning, at the end of the first episode, the other guy from the Fate Stay Night series, Kiri Kamine, does his little, fucking monologue thing, his cameo, and then Rin's in the series too. So I can't, honestly, like, this series is just kind of such a far off, like Garri said, it's kind of a black stain on the franchise. They tried to incorporate some of the jokes and references to the Fate Stay Night series, but again, it was just so off the mark from what they normally do that even the cameos didn't save. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I like Nero, I like Rin. I hate the main character. Yeah. Dude, those first 6 episodes when all he's doing is fucking walking around going, so hateful. Why am I so hateful? I'm just like, oh my God, kill yourself.
But what are my wishes? I am Emos.
I hate him so bad. One of the worst first episodes of any anime series ever. This beat out Fate Zero's first episode and Hunter x Hunter's first episode. Like, it's completely off the mark. Like, why? Why did you do the first episode this way?
I'll be honest. The first episode was amazing. You lied. You got to see the guy get murdered.
But none of it made sense. It was, what did you call it, Tim? It was morbid?
MacGuffin?
Yeah, it was morbid without intent. It was just crude.
Let's go.
There was no
walk. Oh, stab you in the back.
There's the theme of something being dark has a sense of humanity in there, whether it's being lost or degraded or something. But it's just morbid. There's nothing even close to humanity in that opening episode, and it's just morbid.
Killing for killing just because they were told to do it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's a lazy way to try to gain favor.
Right.
In most cases.
It's like killing the dog in Hollywood, just like that.
Yeah.
It's super easy bullshit, and no.
Boomer, no.
Who else was disappointed with the origin story of the main character as well?
I was disappointed with the anime.
I've forgotten who he was.
He was basically all of the anger and rage of all of the dead masters.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm so angry.
I am pure rage incarnated.
In a weird way, at least it explained things, not that anything anyway, but at least we weren't still confused about it by the, what was it, the 8th episode when they revealed that. But it's that, I'm not trying to add fruit to the shit pile. I'm just,
no, I know it's
it's like they did try to explain some of the things at the end, through very exhaustive and winded monologues about their desires and and why this is happening, and
but they could have had 3 more episodes to do that. If they really wanted to. They didn't. They cut it short.
All I know is they were hyping up Deathface constantly, like, oh my god, this evil man, Deathface, he is hatred and evil and all the bad things incarnated.
And he's our main character.
And there wasn't really anything. I wanted something badass. Nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Judy.
He hated himself more than he hated anything else.
I know that game.
Why am I so hateful? Shut the fuck up.
Look,
Just call it what it is. He's emo, all right?
Scroll.
Oh my god, yes, you.
I'm an
I
emo
love it.
kid, non-conforming as can be.
All
Yeah,
right.
so I did just look it up. The anime is based off the PSP game, and it's
Yeah.
not good.
Okay,
It's not
so
going to go well, you guys.
That explains everything.
Crawling in.
It doesn't explain why they thought it was a good idea.
Because it sold well, I'd imagine. Enough that they were thinking, oh, yeah,
You mean it
we'll
sold to Netflix?
just do that.
It was animated by a studio called Shaft.
Well, they certainly gave us that. Actually, the animation wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Shut up.
The
Chris.
story writers need a little bit of work, but
Yes, and very much so. When you forget the whole point of the show or of the series,
They-
it's not.
It's better structure, and they needed a longer run to really flesh it out, do it right. But no, they weren't very, relatively
That's like the
speaking,
opposite
a
of
very
most
short
Netflix
run.
series. Most Netflix
Yeah,
series is like, no,
well,
shorten it.
Most anime series, even if they go for 13 episodes, there's at least 3 episodes where you're like, come on, hurry the fuck up. We know where you go with this. Just get there already. Here,
yeah,
it was
they
a case
condensed
of-
it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had too much going on. You had enough content that you could have made it bigger. And maybe, I'm not saying it would make it superb, but it would have made it more palatable as a series, easily, if you had more time to sort of explain the little threads you had going on. And
probably
giving people a
ruined-
bit.
They probably ran out of their animation budget with that Alice set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can just borrow from the money that Madoka Magica made and just reuse those assets.
I mean,
And
technically,
I'm the only one that's seen that here, probably, huh?
to be fair though, technically they could reuse any assets from any show. Like, oh, it looks like there's other anime that Netflix has made, but it's a video game, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, hey, look at that. No Magica was made by Shaft.
Shaft is one badass mother.
Shut your mouth.
I'm just talking about Shaft.
It'll be interesting to see if they use.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Bravo.
Someone please slap that sticker. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ben,
Yeah,
you're delightful.
I'm interested to see if they use the 2 of the bigger characters they had in the game. I'm sure they will in the second half. But
You only have one more floor though, and it's the 7th level.
that's the problem, isn't it?
Don't
Yeah.
worry. something will
Everything
happen.
happens in the 7th level.
Like they used Lei Shuen as the berserker this time,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. But there is another berserker that they didn't use, and a caster or not a caster. What's it called?
Assassin?
No.
Tank? I don't know.
God,
Fighter.
the spear guy, the lancers. Sorry,
Lancer.
Aw.
and a lancer they haven't used that are some of the best characters in freaking history. In my
Doreen is kind of the Lancer, even though she's absorbed the ability of her past servant.
Yeah, in the game, multiple of them appear.
Okay.
There's multiple berserkers, multiple everything.
Well, there were 128 contestants, which I guess didn't even mean anything because
They're
the
dead anyway.
numbers and the time made no sense in that show at all. Like,
I mean, I could spoil it for you guys, but I don't know if I want.
No.
I'm
Would it-
sure
would it-
it won't be hard to guess who it is once they appear. But
Is it me? Am
It's
I-
Estinian, Chili.
No!
Ben is a caster.
Is it Kenny Omega?
is he rated?
Kenny Omega rated E for everyone.
That's Joe
So should we-
Pasquale, isn't it?
Should we give it a rating then, guys?
Yeah, I think ratings are appropriate. Klaus, as you start us off with this one, you can go with the first rating.
Okay. Like I said, it's because it was a Fate anime. I had high hopes for it. However, they were dashed after the first episode. I kept through it, and some of it, redeemed itself a little bit. So I would probably give it a 4.5.
1.5. 1.5. I will go to Alfonso next, as he has not really had much to say on it. Alfonso.
I can't say nothing about it since I haven't watched it.
Oh, you didn't get a chance?
Oh.
So,
But he
God,
fell
sorry.
over to hit his telephone.
I got lost in the emotional side of it rather than the I didn't watch it side of it. So that's
He was
good.
he was invested in the character. He was invested in the character. Are you listening, company that makes these animes?
Stop
He was
shafting
invested
the
in
character.
Alfonso's character.
Stop shafting.
Criminy. Tim, what's your scores on the doors, George? That's how it works.
Here's
isn't
the
it?
baby. Here's the...
Instead of
At least you
giving
get-
any sort of like lead in to it, I'm going to say that I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I'm going the wordplay, of course, and I'm
Yeah.
going to give it a deuce out of 10.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my.
I will go next and say that it was perfectly satisfactory. It didn't do much for me, but it didn't offend me. It was palatable television. So
Standards.
yeah. Well, I'm the guy I'm the guy that shits on everything every week when everyone else likes it. And this time,
You're going to shit on for liking something, so just take it. Take it like a man.
Take it like the Shaft Company.
well,
Think
my
about that guy
liking
in
is
that
5 out of 10. My liking is 5 out of 10. Yeah, that's as far as I go with this. It's like, I think it has potential, but obviously I don't have that background with the series to really connect with. I think it's very flawed, but there's stuff there to like, Fair enough in my pair of books. Let's see, who we got? Garri.
Oh boy. Because I know what's gonna happen.
Spoilers!
And
Go, you-
seeing it now in animation form, like I just wasn't really impressed with anything. Like I know you guys like the animation, some of it at least. I didn't like it at all. To me, it seemed like they had one artist and one story writer, and it's just a two-man team in this anime. And to me, like it's just bad through and through for me. So I'm gonna have to go with the same as Tim over here and a 2 out of 10.
Oh, you've ruined Tim's puns now by revealing the number. Terrible.
Deuce out of 10. I'm gonna go number
Too
2 now.
Too
What does
late.
number 2
You
work
shit
for?
all over that joke.
Shaft.
Benny and the Jets. What will you give this?
Well, I'm going to rate it with letters instead of numbers because just like the
Take it
girls'
account, man.
chess, I'm going to give it a double D.
Oh, fucking hell.
Dude, yeah, actually, that's a really good point because there was a lot of flagrant misuse of all of that kind of shit. Like, just all over the place. Like, during exposition scenes, she was just basically naked. Like, what were you trying to do? Dodge the fact that you were wasting our time?
Yes. Actually, no, you're not. That is actually
And
nailed
her
on.
outfit, where I kept getting distracted by the fact that her ass is showing.
Literally.
I mean, it's like everything. Well, not everything's covered up, but you know what I mean. Her back is all covered up, her legs are covered up. Just her ass cheeks, for some reason, are on show.
Yeah. Yeah, the cleavage window, and she's got the butt cheek window.
I don't see what the problem here is, guys.
Oh,
What are you complaining about? Her outfit looked great. It was beautiful.
Chris, I feel like you would have been complaining if they promised you tails and they didn't have any.
Oh no, I
I wasn't expecting tails. They had boobs, which is fine, good enough for me. Shit.
I personally don't care about the boobs. I like that part of the anime, but it wasn't something I was expecting, especially like right at the start. I mean,
sorry, I just got the hilarious idea of Chris being excited by Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, it was just a flagrant misrepresentation.
You're not entirely wrong about any of this, Neil.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Hey, I haven't finished my review yet. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there was a lot of fan service, and as I said before, it was just weird fan service. I don't mind fan service when it fits in with the show, but this felt like really forced. Especially at the start where she was offering her body pretty much, when he's in the bath. Yeah, for the first time. I mean, you've only just met the characters and she's oh. And it doesn't make sense because later on you find out she's a lesbian anyway, pretty much. So, what was that first scene about? You don't like men?
No, real.
She's
If
not
you
like just set into one person.
I thought she liked women more.
if you know the story behind ancient Rome and Nero, it was very open back then.
Fair enough.
Mm.
I know ancient Rome was open. I guess, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about boobs and fan service. My laptop is being a bitch, and I'm gonna have to edit like 7 parts together.
Yeah, so basically,
all of like 5 minutes. Some of them.
Yeah, so basically, Fate was shit. Generally, is what people were thinking. So yeah,
I think
but
Chris
we have
has
to
give
pick
his
a
yet, right?
new. Did Chris? Oh yeah, because of the recording. Chris, quickly.
I thought
tell
you
us.
loved me.
Give us- go on.
Nope.
No, I mean, yeah, we pretty much covered every angle. It's.
Hot.
Hey.
Well, that's what
I'll
the fan
give it-
service did.
I'll give it a 2 out of 10 just because I did really like Nero and Reen. So, but after the high that I was on with Ajin, which I just fucking loved and it did everything for me, it's really hard to give this one a good score.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Cool. So yes, that's one of the weaker ones we've covered. Probably the weakest one we covered overall. And with me being the high scorer, that's the surprising thing, given how it's been the last few weeks. But we're going to pick a new one. We're going to pick a new one for next week, where everyone's going to have to watch it. And who will step up to the plate this week and say, me, I shall pick the anime that everyone will watch, and I will be very disappointed when no one likes it.
Okay, Neil, I can't say all that, so I'm just gonna say me. That was
Yeah.
way too long.
That's what she said.
Yes.
Not to me, she didn't.
That's very.
Hey, come on, just
Sorry, this is taking way too long.
All right, Fonzie, what we got?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Alfonso.
my recommendation for next week is Sword Guy, and Guy is spelled as AI.
Yes.
12 episodes, and I just started watching this today, and I'm already at episode 10. So that should show you I really like this series.
I
Yeah.
figured that's just your standard routine.
Sword guy?
I've been curious about this one. It's in my list on Netflix, so now I have an awesome reason to watch it. Thank you, Alfonso.
Neil, you want to do what you do and read the synopsis?
Yeah, when I find
Discovery
it.
Channel.
When I find it.
It's on Netflix.
It's called exact.
I got it. Okay, fine, go ahead.
We have different Netflix to you guys, so just reiterate what it's called there, so I can search. Alfonso.
Sword Guy.
Just tell me what.
Oh,
Sword
sorry, yeah, Sword
Guy.
GAI.
Looking, it's
I
not
found it.
on. Oh, yeah, I found it. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I am ready for the old synopsis. Well, the summary, not synopsis, because that gives away the story. A young man becomes host to a legendary infernal sword and, with the fate of humanity now in his arm, of course, wields its demonic power against his enemies. Roar. Yes, that is so by the animation, which suggests it was a flip book before.
It was
One
a
of
picture
those.
book.
Yeah. It has 12 episodes in its first season, and the
Second
new
season
season
is
coming
July.
on
Yeah.
July 30th, which won't matter to us because we will be reviewing it next week, maybe the week after at the latest, and it still won't be out. But that is what we will be covering when it comes. So thank you, Alfonso. We have done that. That concludes, after many hiccups, breaks, and slaps at the old sticker, we have concluded the problematic sticker for another week. I am your host, Neil Bolt, and I will say adieu. But before that, we will do our shout-outs. And first, I will start with Alfonso.
Shout out to you guys. I miss y'all. It's been weird not being on for 2 weeks because of electrical reasons.
You didn't feel the spark, huh?
Honestly, I do get twitches sometimes,
Yes.
so I have to go check that out. I don't like that. But shout
That's
out to
shocking.
you guys, to the listeners, to all the followers. A special note to Garri. You really fucked up my brain today, and
What?
I gotta watch out for you because I really feel you do fucked up shit behind closed doors. You know, behind.
I think you
Keep it
got
going.
some electrical misfires going on, dude. You might want to go to the hospital.
Just amp it up.
I had this strange vision. Now, I don't know if this has to do with me being electrocuted or what you shown today, but I picture you somehow coming to New York, and when I open my door, I don't know how you got into my home, you were all these weird fucking sex stuff. And
This is
telling
amazing.
me you want to play in a creepy-ass voice.
Yes.
This is amazing.
No, that's not amazing. I'm not for that. I'm for
That's
that
Chris's
way.
Friday
Right.
nights with Gary.
That sounds like a
dude.
premonition to
That's
me.
great, dude. I've been there, man. It's great, Alfonso. Let me tell you, Gary is a forceful but gentle lover, and he knows what he's doing with those big bear paw hands. I mean, it's just
Is that hairy
Yeah,
too?
right.
Just saying.
Chances
He's
are
that hairy.
it'll be over before you knew what happened.
Yep, 16 puffs. That's all Gary needs.
But you'll feel it in the morning.
I don't think there's enough stickers in the world.
Yeah, not for Gary.
Like I said, we didn't use so many last week, so we got an extra bunch. It's
For the
fine.
record, this is how we verse on
You guys are
PlayStation all the
terrible.
time.
Yeah, all the time. I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
You have no idea.
Anyway, can we?
Yeah, let's carry on before Ben's internet shits out its arsehole again.
Shout out to She-Hills, I thank Twitch, she asked to Twitch on Team Motion. Shout out to Phoenix Down Radio, Twitch.tv, Phoenix Down Radio, Klauss, Knightbringer, Sarah, Luna, and me. A shout out to Moogle Go Round Radio, Twitch.tv/Moogle Go Round Radio. Shout out to everyone on Twitter. There we go.
Yeah, and you can read all that in normal time on Ben's Twitter, and it'll be fine.
Wow. All I heard out of that whole sentence was shit.
And it's the one word he didn't even use.
Yeah.
So we Klauss.
It's his podcast, and he thinks he has to go at triple speed. I don't know. I don't get it. Shout out to you guys. Thank you again for having me on here. Shout out to my co-hosts out on my other podcast, Phoenix Radio, as Chili mentioned, twitch.tv/PhoenixRadio or PhoenixRadio.com. We just had a new episode last night talking about the new Deep Dungeon Heaven on High. If you want to check that out, we had a good time with that. But yeah, keep watch, guys.
Thank you for being on.
Splendid. Tim.
Shout out to Ben for beating out rappers in word speed. Shout out to everybody for being on. Shout out to Fonzie. Love you. Miss you all the time. Thank you for being back.
Yeah.
Shout out to Garri for scarring Fonzie.
Through no fault of my own.
For life.
Yeah. Only 4 fucking rewrites of a fucking graphic.
Oh, and then shout out to his to Garri again for his really, really pristine Photoshop.
Thank you.
Oh, it's trash. And
You bitch.
sweet trash.
Mm.
I
Shout
just
out to
don't know if I
listeners.
should be offended because the cat is on me.
The ball's in your court.
Hairy ball.
And the cat.
Nobody thought the whole time. I'm glad I waited on that one. Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to
Beautiful.
listeners. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Chris for being sex.
Yes.
You could say you dropped the ball on it.
What I've taken a loss in my day, so let's see. Shout out to friends, family, fans, listeners. Fonzie, love you, man. Good to talk to you again.
Love you too.
Thanks.
Oh, you didn't go that way.
When it's Garri.
I don't go Gary.
Garri is his own fetish. Man, I got nothing else, man. I just.
That's fair. You've ended on the right note. So, Garri.
And he's spent.
Jesus. Shout out to you guys for constantly having me on. Listeners, shout out to Fonzie who tried to turn himself into Raiden.
I am the lightning.
You were the lightning in that rain.
He can try and do Chidori's.
Shout out to Klauss for making it to the podcast today. I'm glad the squirrel didn't delay you for too long.
Hey,
Yeah, apologies for that.
Tim was squirrel hunting as well.
Yeah, I said I'm not talking to Tim anymore, so it was just...
I hope you did well, Tim, by the way.
Later.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Tim, love you.
I slander.
Yeah, it's still a statement.
It's a love-hate relationship.
We're
Yes.
still words, Gary, and words hurt.
And that's it. And for Tim stealing all my material.
That was another thing I stole.
He did steal your images, noticeably. Of all the things he stole.
That was the upside down guy.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. Play me, I guess. And yeah, I just say, like I always say,
Nice.
That says it all.
Till next week. Bye.